Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Waste, a weekly news show where I run you through the top stories as seen on waste360.com. My name is Gage Edwards, back again with some of these hot top stories as we enter the final month of the year. And December is making itself known as the outside world is terrible and I don't want to be out there because it is so cold. But the waste industry stops for no one. So this week's top stories include recycling facility plans in Pennsylvania, the need for solutions around the plastic treaty talks, and an excellent episode of the Waste World podcast. I'm saying that from a non-biased point of view, but it's also the same as my biased point of view. It's an incredible episode. So let's check out those top stories now. Number 5, Pennsylvania Resource Council plans for permanent recycling facility. Looking to maximize the area's recycling efforts, the Pennsylvania Resources Council is putting together plans to establish a permanent recycling facility in Allegheny County. Number 4, businesses, churches file appeals against recently approved Akron Waste Transfer Station. In Ohio, the Akron City Council has approved a waste transfer station on the east side of town, but 2 appeals have been filed against the approval. Number 3, as time runs out on plastic treaty talks, industry highlights the need for focused and collaborative solutions. The United Nations' latest round of negotiations on a global plastics treaty concludes without finalizing a text, reflecting the immense complexity of addressing global plastic pollution. Despite the disappointment, the plastics and chemical industries remain engaged, contributing expertise and tools. Number 2, states called on to lead in plastic reduction policy in anticipation of federal opposition to regulations. States are taking the lead in addressing plastic waste, as federal progress on regulating plastic production and disposal remains slow and contentious. Advocates recommend beginning with proven strategies like beverage container deposit refund programs, while EPR laws for packaging require careful planning and transparent implementation to avoid pitfalls and industry pushback. And our top story of the week, Waste World Podcast Episode 7, Illinois EPA Recycle Coach Talk Recycling Challenges. On this week's episode of the Waste World Podcast, Steph and Gage catch up with James Jennings from the Illinois EPA and Jeff Galland of Recycle Coach. Be sure to listen to the podcast on our website, waste360.com, or on our YouTube page, or on podcasting services. And those were the top stories as seen on waste360.com for the week. As always, you can learn more about each of these stories by going to waste360.com. That's where you can even listen to the Waste World Podcast episode. But don't forget, the Waste World Podcast is also available on YouTube if you like a video component, or on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Speaking of the podcast, we will have a special episode going over the top 10 stories from the year on waste360.com, all the biggest news and headlines from the waste industry for all of 2024. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Spotify or other podcasting services, and stay tuned to waste360.com every day. And until next time, thanks for watching.